What's up, guys? I'm Chris, and today you're watching a magic review on Casi-Know 2.0 by Black Cat Magic. Welcome to the channel, and thanks for tuning in. Please consider subscribing. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment on any questions that you have about the product I'm reviewing or anything you'd like to see in the future. Let me know your thoughts. Also, don't forget to click that notification bell so you don't miss a video or a review. Don't forget to head over to Facebook and join the Chris Edwards Magic Secret Access group. In there, I will be posting direct links to unlisted videos that can't be found visibly on the channel or through a YouTube search or any search engine for that matter. So it's borderline exposure in the sense that I don't want to present these publicly to lay people, but I think that if you are here, then you're likely a magician or a mentalist. There are some questions to answer to get into the group. Check that out because there will be a lot of unlisted videos that I think will be worth seeing. Casi-Know 2.0 is a brilliantly designed marked set of poker chips that can be used in so many different ways. You're going to get your regular poker chips as well as some other gimmick poker chips, the routines that are provided within the tutorial, and on top of that, what you can come up with your own creativity, as with a marked deck, for example. This is all such a very, very good set. So the price on this is £20, which converts to 25 US dollars. What do you get? Everything's going to come in a plastic bag. You're going to also get a black velvet bag. You will get your 5 regular chips and then your gimmick chips. Now, I'm not going to show the gimmick chips completely, not in their entirety, even though I think it does give you a description on the chips. Just know that with the chips, you have gimmick chips that allow you multiple outs on every value, and then you have another double facer that can be used for a specific routine that Baz has included in the tutorial, or a number of things that you can come up with on your own. So the main chips themselves is what we're going to go over. I'll kind of talk about the other ones a bit too when I talk about the tutorial, but here are your chips. Right, they're the markings are extremely easy to read once you know what the marking system is, and I'm going to kind of compare this to the Eclipse deck, not in the sense that the markings are at all the same, but just in the sense that the Eclipse deck is known for being able to read the markings from across the room, and while chips are a lot smaller, you can read these very clearly at quite a distance. So maybe not across the room, but in the room I'm in, I guarantee that the other side is about 12 feet away. And if you have good eyesight anyway, and you can make out the back design well enough to see each specific part in the design, then you could read it from a good 10 feet away without a problem. So yeah, they look completely innocent, but once you know how to read them, extremely easy. More onto the quality. These are as good as they come. Like, they are professionally made and printed. There's really nothing negative. There's no downside to the quality whatsoever. These things will last you forever. Like, they're so well made that I'm actually surprised that they're not being sold at a higher price range. So you have a nice back design, and then on the other side you have your value of the chip, which is large, clean, very easy to read. It's not too busy, and they look authentic, like they would have been used at any casino, really. Like, they don't look like a prop. They don't look like a specially devised mentalism prop, I guess, for lack of a better term. I don't know if these are clay or plastic, but they look, sound, feel like your average set. Well, not your average set, but your like a good high quality set of poker chips. All right, so the tutorial. You're going to get a 44-page PDF. It goes over the marking system and everything that you need to know on the chips themselves. There's also a really good way to memorize the marking system, and it's named very appropriately. You're kind of going to have a laugh when you you hear the name of the marking system, but it's going to stick with you forever and you'll never forget the markings. BAS includes 4 routines. You have a routine in which you are able to divine or predict 3 different outcomes: the value of the chip, a selected playing card, as well as a location in where your participant thinks of a place that they would be playing. And one of the things that is in Baz's kind of description, or not description, but in scripting, he says, don't think of somewhere like Vegas because that's too easy, right? So really they can think of anywhere in the world that they'd want to be playing. And this can be non-existent too, right? You're still going to get that information. So in the end, you reveal a number of different things, and it's all very well put together so that your participant can never really backtrack anything. Like the handling and the pacing, that's the biggest thing here, I think, is the pacing. It's so well thought out that there's never any heat on the chips themselves. There's not heat on anything really. You can do this with just the gimmick chips and a regular deck, or if you want to use a mark deck, it's going to be that much more deceptive, but that's entirely up to you. Anyway, overall, the routine is very, very good, very well thought out. And then you have another routine that uses the gimmicked chips. So really your participant will have the regular chips, you will have the gimmick chips, and you are able to show in the end that you had predicted the chip that they would choose or come up with. The routine itself can be played out in so many different ways. He gives you a routine, and then where you take it or where you go with it is completely up to you, but ultimately in the end your chip will match theirs using multiple outs. And it's very easy to do. Since there are only 6 chips for your participant to choose from, the multiple outs very easy because you only have to be using 3 of your own. There's different examples in the routine of where you can have the chips. Maybe you have one under the velvet bag, or I'm not going to get too much into it, but in the end it's super clean. There's another routine called photo finish, in which uses 4 of the chips. You have them set out and your participant can rearrange them however they choose, and in the end you reveal that you knew in advance the order that they would end up with. And the reason it's called photo finish is because you show them on your phone that you took a picture earlier of 4 chips laid out and it matches the outcome. And then last but not least, just for the sake of completion or giving you an idea on using one of the double face chips, Bass has also incorporated a routine around another prediction, but it's really fair because you kind of switch in a gimmick. So in the beginning, they're handling all the regular chips. You switch in a gimmick, you have them do something, and in the end, your prediction matches the only chip that is left through a series of moves, but not moves on your part. It's just things that your participant's going to do. So it's a very quick, straightforward example on one way to use that chip. The routines provided are all really good, but again, this is a utility, just like a marked deck. So get creative. The sky's the limit. There's so much that you can do with these. Obviously, it applies more to gambling or routines that have to do with maybe chance or luck, just because they are chips, but these can also be used for other things as well. There's also a part in the tutorial that explains how these can be used in combination with Caleb Webb's Afterglow routine, which uses a die. Now this can be used instead because you have 6 different values. So 6 sides to a die, 6 different values. This can replace the die if you want to swap things out or change the presentation or the scripting in the routine of any way. So the difficulty level with this, using the chips, it's very simple, very easy. The marking system is amazing. The routines provided, they're all easy to do, easy to understand. Just give the tutorial a read through, kind of memorize what you need to do. But again, especially that first routine, it's called One Night In, and it's a longer routine. It incorporates, like I mentioned, 3 different things, but it's extremely clever. And I think just the way it's been put together, no way to backtrack anything, so clever. And if you learn that one, that's going to spark your creativity to really kind of get a feel for what you can do with these chips, the possibilities. I also know Louis Lavelle personally uses these chips, and he has a routine that he does. I haven't seen it. I know nothing about it, but I'm a big fan of Louis Lavelle, so I'm curious to see how he uses these. But with that said, another working professional that uses these, and obviously they're really good. Angles. So there are no angle restrictions with this, right? They're going to be handling the chips. They're going to be looking at the chips. A lot of the time with the routines that Baz has included in the tutorial, the chips will be in play and then they will be hidden or taken out of play just so that there's no heat on them. And really with the way that these are marked and designed, I don't think that there really is any heat on them to begin with, because they do just look very clean and natural. They don't stand out as being a special prop or anything. So you're using really organic materials with the routines, whether it's the one that Baz goes over where you're using chips, cards, and they write down a location. Very organic, and for that routine, the chips, the cards, nothing is out of place. So I think that honestly, if you're doing something along those lines, it takes the heat off of all the props involved. Setup and reset, again, I guess just depending on the routine that you do, there really doesn't have to be anything set up. Your participant is going to shuffle or cut these or mix them around, rearrange them. So you don't have to worry about any kind of setup there. Reset, there's really nothing either. Like I said, depending on the routine, if there's something that you want to switch in or whatever, then you may have some kind of setup, but it's going to be dependent on how you want to use these. No arts and crafts, these are ready to use. After you purchase them, just make sure that you read the tutorial and don't just go out and have people, what's the value of this, and then tell them. Like that's where the heat comes in, is when you take something like a marked deck or like this, the marked chips, and you have them select it and hold it up, and then you just tell them what it is, right? So don't use them in that sense, because then that will bring heat to them, as with anything that's marked. But yeah, they're ready to go. You just need to learn the marking system, how to read them. Again, very easy. Just to show you quickly, 200, 100, 25, 50, 500, 1000. Like they're, you can just simply glance down at the stack and see what your markings are. So it's very, very easy to use. You are able to tell what the value is with just a quick glimpse, and it can be determined from quite a distance as well, which is very, very good. Pocket space, I think that's depending on the routine as well. If you just want to use the 6 chips, throw these in your pocket. It's very similar to coins, right? If you've worked with coins, these aren't much different, a little bit thicker than coins. You also have a carrying pouch here if you want to carry everything. I'll just give you an idea of what that looks like. So everything kind of fits like that. So not a lot of pocket space. Is this a worker and who would use this? Being marked, I think that this is directed towards mentalism, obviously. But with that said, marked cards aren't just directed at mentalism, right? There are other things that you can do with these chips that don't just have to be mentalism specific, but that's kind of what they're intended for. Is this a worker? These are definitely going to go into a number of working sets that I do, whether it's strolling, close up, parlor, right? Maybe a stage. It's, again, though, with mentalism, you can't eliminate a certain environment. Like, these might not be the best for stage because they're such a small prop, but I wouldn't eliminate stage, because stage is more about presentation and how you reveal things and how you incorporate your participant and the audience. And with mentalism, your props really don't matter. So is it worth your money? At 20 pounds or 25 US dollars, this is an extreme bargain. I know that Baz could have charged a lot more for these. Honestly, I would have assumed that it'd been more around that $50 price range. So being half of that, I think that that is an incredible value. Not just because of the extreme quality that went into these, but the routines included, the thinking behind it, and the versatility of this. How many different ways that you can use these incorporated with so many different routines, other props, and things like that. Like, this is a complete steal. Positives and negatives. I'll tell you right now, I have no negatives. You get more than what you pay for with this. Positives, very easy to read, very good routines, very good tutorial, very high quality, very good price, very, 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 very good. I think that covers everything that I have to say on Casi-Know 2.0. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can pick these up directly at Black Cat Magic. If this is something that you want, I would recommend buying them as soon as you can, because these have went out of stock a number of times and it takes some time to remake and bring more in. So once these go out of stock, they will be out of stock for a little bit. The last time I looked, there were 13 sets still in stock, and for the price, I would hop on that quick. With that said, if you're a mentalist and these can be incorporated into your style in any way, go and pick these up while you can. And with that, we'll see you at the next review.